What is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lonnie from FlightSim Gaming. Today we're doing a third leg here in the Fenix A320 with Air Canada on our little east to west coast trip that we're doing. We are sitting on the ground here in Toronto. I believe we're at gate 133 and we are flying to Winnipeg. Got the call sign up top there. Air Canada 265. It is a real-world flight flown daily by Air Canada. They do many flights to Winnipeg from Toronto. Well, I know WestJet flies there. I believe Flair did, or probably still does. So it's not uncommon for this flight. As you can see outside, the clouds are looking slightly dark there. If I look outside my window, it looks pretty close to the same visuals that we have represented in the simulator at the moment. No snow on the ground, thank God. We don't have any snow here yet. It is coming. I hope it doesn't come. I don't like the snow. This flight's about 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and I believe we're cruising up to 36,000 feet on today's flight. We are expecting to do an RNAV approach in Winnipeg. RNAV Zulu for runway 18, I believe, is what we're doing. Should be pretty cool. It's a pretty common approach. There is no ILS on runway 18 in Winnipeg, even though it's one of the longer runways. There is no ILS. We'll see how the winds favor once we get closer to our top of descent. But anyways, let's jump inside the cockpit. Let's get this aircraft rocking and rolling. We'll turn some of these panel brightnesses down here. They're way too bright, in my humble opinion. Okay, so I've already imported the sim brief flight plan. We're gonna go ahead and load the aircraft. I screwed that up, I'm pretty sure. Let's redo that. I believe I clicked real load, real speed. We don't want to do that. Load aircraft. I think I broke the aircraft. Let's try it again. Instant. That's what we want. Makes things nice and fast. Beautiful. Let's come down to the box here. We'll go ahead and flight init request. Come over to the init tab here. We're going to go init request on the init page. ACA 265, Air Canada 265. Cost index of 5. And we're cruising up to 36,000 feet. Let's align the IRS in it. Perfect. Move over to the right page here. Let's plug in our fuel and weight information. 59.9, 31.2. Block fuel 10.5. Fantastic, fantastic. Let's clear that message there. Come over to the flight plan tab here. We are departing off of runway 23. We're on the AVSEP 7 departure, MUSIT transition. It's going to be a bumpy departure for sure. I know it's gusting winds. We want the RNAV Zulu runway 18. And we are on the NORAC 4 arrival. And I believe it's the GOVIT transition. We'll insert that. We'll have a look at our flight plan momentarily. Perf init, or perf tab, sorry. Runway 23, it's dry. We'll load the sync sheet. We're gonna go flaps 1. Doing a flaps 1 departure. We'll sync the live weather. Okay, let's just verify the temperature and the altimeter is correct. So 5 degrees plus and 29.83. Fantastic. We'll go ahead and calculate that info. 155, 155, 157. Flaps 1 down 0.00. Flex temp 59. And 1560 on the engine out. Fantastic. We'll go ahead and set the rest of the aircraft up here. A little early with that stuff, that's okay. We'll plug that in anyways. 2983 on the altimeter. Initial climb is 5,000. I know that for a fact. Well, we got passengers boarding, and we have, looks like the baggage is done. Let's open up Navigraph. We'll do a little bit of debriefing here on our departure. AVSEP 7 departure for runway 23. Pretty simple departure here. It's runway heading at 1,100 feet. We're going to go ahead, right turn heading 245, and then we'll vector ourselves out to Tillum. Transalt is 18,000 feet. And then we'll just... The initial climb here says, unless otherwise assigned by ATC, climb heading 237 to 1100. Climb right turn heading 245 or as assigned. Expect radar vectors to Tillum. So we'll probably just go direct AVSEP. We're probably just going to disregard Tillum, go direct AVSEP. Make things much easier. The winds in Toronto, 260 at 15. Overcast at 3,500. That's 5 degrees. Current and altimeter 29.83. While we're here now, we can actually look at our flight plan, make sure that we don't have any waypoints that should not be there. Departure is going to look great. I know that. It's usually the arrival. So we are flying over Sault Ste. Marie, and it looks like Thunder Bay. And this is the arrival into Winnipeg. Probably at Eblin, we'll probably vector ourselves to Ooldal, where we got to be 200 for 35 and above 3,500. Make our descent down towards the runway. All that looks fantastic. Beautiful. APU is available. Fuel pumps can come on. Should have waited until passengers are done boarding, but we're almost there. Beacon light coming on as well.
Hello. Thank you.
From Winnipeg, we are doing a flight over to, I believe it's Calgary. I also want to note the scenery for Winnipeg is done by FlightSim Studios, not Sim Add-ons. Originally, I had the Sim Add-on stuff, but obviously the FlightSim Studio quality is much better in my opinion, as well as I believe Calgary was also done by FlightSim Studios too. To be honest, I don't remember. It's been a little while since I had it. But there we go. Boarding has been completed. Waiting for us to close some doors here. Get rid of the jetway, move over to GSX, and we will prepare for pushback.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Flight Tampa is going to be releasing an update for Toronto. I believe they're doing a big, massive overhaul of this airport. I know they just did an update of their Fly Tampa LA or Las Vegas airport, and somebody had asked on the forums, when are you going to optimize and update Toronto? They had said it is next on their list. There's a big, massive update that will be coming out hopefully before Christmas. It might bleed off into the new year. Not sure. They didn't specify, but definitely looking forward to that. The scenery needs to be optimized. There are some broken taxiways. We'll probably see some taxiing out onto Alpha towards runway 23. There's a good chance we're going to see some holes in the ground. And that is a scenery problem, but it's all minor. I don't think Fly Tampa has done an update for Toronto for a while now. It's probably been over a year at the very least. You know, they're busy. They got, you know, a lot of things on their plate, as many developers do. So we always got to be patient when it comes to updates and fixes. Anything that's urgent will, for the most part, be done right away. Select pushback direction. Nose right, tail left.
Release parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes are released. Engine start switch.
All engines
Engine
clear.
number 2.
Start at will.
We'll hop back inside, and we're going to go engine number 1. Beautiful. Two good engines. APU bleed can come off. Master switch can come off. Nose light coming over to taxi. Engine start switch comes over to the norm position. It's a flaps 1 departure.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Flaps 1 departure. We're going to go auto brake over to max. I don't think we've missed anything. Definitely one of my favorite airports to fly here in the sim. It is my home airport. I'm very grateful for Fly Tampa doing it, obviously, with their super accurate and highly detailed scenery that they do.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is
While
clear.
GSX is doing GSX things, let's open up Navigraph here. We'll have a look at our taxi briefing here. So we're going to taxi apron Alpha Kilo. And we're going to make a right on Alpha. Follow Alpha all the way up. Hotel. Make a right on a hotel. Hold short of hotel for runway 23. And it's a beautiful departure on out. I'm expecting there to be some bumps on this departure. I can never get a smooth departure out of Toronto for some reason. It's always some crazy ass winds. Have a good trip. Parker brake coming off. Takeoff config is normal. Yeah, I can never get a decent departure out of here. But we'll make do with what we have. Terminal 1, beautiful Terminal 1 of Toronto. Lester B. Pearson International Airport. We're on Alpha, and there's that scenery problems that we have with this scenery. It's not always there. It's not always there. I find from time to time it gets, you know, it comes and it goes. As long as I don't have any issues on the taxiways and on the runways, we're okay. Hopefully that can be addressed. No sense in reaching out to Fly Tampa. They're not that great at responding. I had an issue flying here in the nighttime. I still have the same issue. That's why I avoid any nighttime flights. I get these red triangles on the taxiways, which is an eyesore. And I've reached out before, and they did respond, and they wanted pictures. I sent them pictures, but never got a response back. You know, kind of expect that from these developers who are always busy. So I'm sure they get a lot of different emails. It's not a big deal. Just always work around it. There's that beautiful Air Canada maintenance hangar. Wait, I think it's a maintenance hangar. There's always airplanes in there. I do a lot of plane spotting here. Runway 23, there's a spot on Airport Road that I like to hang out right directly across from the runway. Lots of beautiful plane spottings here. They are developing here at Pearson as well a brand new FedEx terminal, I guess you would call it. That will most likely be part of Fly Tampa's update, hopefully. I don't think it's fully built yet. I know parts of it is. They're building it right beside the current one. Or they're expanding it. I'm not sure what they're doing with their old terminal. I'm sure they're probably expanding it. This is hotel here. We're gonna make a right on the hotel. So again, the winds are 260 at 15. Altimeter 2983. We are cleared for takeoff. Runway 23. Let's get the rest of our lights on here. Little stuttery here. And throttle's up 40%. Flex set. $80 knots checked. I can feel that wind already. And V1 rotate. Slow rotation there, positive rate of climb. Gear up. And start our right turn, heading 245. Flight directors are doing some weird things. Throttle's over to climb. We'll pitch for climb. Flaps clean. Ground spoilers disarmed. Nice little departure out of here. Take off, roll. Little bump there. Not too shabby. Coming up on 5,000 feet. We'll go up 36,000. And we're going to go direct AVSEP. Go ahead, throw autopilot on. Turn off some lights here. See if we can get a visual here. No visual. Nothing. Too cloudy. That's fine. Coming up on 8,000 feet. We'll keep her coming. Pretty cloudy out there. Pretty cloudy. 10,000 feet is in. We are going to retract our landing lights. keep our seatbelts on for now. It's slightly bumpy. We got a nice crosswind coming from the left there. Aircraft going to speed up to 307 knots as we depart on out from Toronto on this 2-hour journey to Winnipeg. You know, I actually haven't done a landing yet at FlightSim Studios Winnipeg Airport scenery. Hopefully there's no bugs and glitches. I try to record everything in one shot so that you guys, you know, see the raw form of how I fly. I'm not the best when it comes to being smooth rotation and smooth on the rudders. I'm definitely not one of the best. I'm one of the weakest in my opinion. But I would like to keep things smooth. But hopefully the scenery holds up. I don't think the landing will be. The last landing, it's weird. It showed, I think, like a minus 3 feet per minute on landing. It was actually in the 260s. So, got a little unstable on that approach. Try not to do that on this one. You know, I try to keep things as smooth as I can, but there's never any guarantee. But anyways, ladies and gents, coming up on 13,000 feet. Take the aircraft all the way up. We're going 36,000 feet on today's cruise. And I'll catch y'all on the descent into Winnipeg. We are expecting the RNAV arrivals for runway 18. See you there, ladies and gents. Peace! What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the video. We are currently on the descent into Winnipeg. We are still expecting the RNAV Zulu 18 approach for runway 18 in Winnipeg. It's looking very overcast the outside. I believe we have overcast clouds up to about 500 feet. So we will make sure that autopilot will stay on until we get a runway in sight. But anyways, let's open up Navigraph. Let's have a look at all the information we need to know. The winds are 190 at 11 knots. Visibility is 14 miles. Overcast at 500. Now it's 400. Temperature -7. Altimeter 3002. I will update the MiG-2 momentarily just to verify all that information is accurate. But anyways, we are coming up to NORAC, which we have to be between 11,000 and 14,000 feet. There are no restrictions for runway 18. As you can see, runways 31 and 36, there's a restriction for speed. From there, we're going to go to Anaxu, and then we are going to follow this arrival for the approach. We do have speed and altitude restraints, and this is what our approach is going to look like. We will vector ourselves to Udall, or Udall, for the approach. Transalt's 18,000 feet. We have our LNAV, VNAV minimums for 1,097 feet. And that's what that looks like. We are expecting gate, I believe it's gate 10, once we get to the terminal. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to vacate at Kilo. Most likely we're going to have to vacate off of the runway here for Victor. We're descending down to 5,500 feet. Just going to verify all our altimeters. 3002. 3002 is set there. And we'll come in here. 3002. Temperature, I believe, was -7. Winds 190 at 11. It's 190 at 13. And everything's updated, and we'll leave it as is. Beautiful. Just about to pass 16,000 feet here. And not much to see out here, as y'all can see. Very cloudy. Stay inside the cockpit for now. Should be an interesting arrival. This is technically winter ops here in Canada, so we are expecting precipitation and definitely less sun during this time of year. So a lot of these approaches are going to be overcast with some precipitation, whether it's rain or snow. We're coming up on 14,000 feet. I'm going to go managed mode. And we'll let the managed speed kick in. As we got to meet 250. And I'm sure we will. Wait, no, sorry. Anaxu, I don't believe we are required to... Yes, we are required max 250 at Anaxu. We'll make sure the aircraft slows down for that, and as it's doing right now. Again, we are landing at FlightSim Studios, Winnipeg International. I haven't flown into it yet, so I'm not sure if we are going to expect any bugs at the airport. I did have sim add-ons Winnipeg that I had deleted to make room for FlightSim Studios. It's just the better airport of the two, so. Showing us a little bit above, above the VNAV target speed. That's okay. It'll slowly pull in. As we come up on 10,000 feet here, we'll make sure we get our landing lights on. Bam. No need for our landing system guidance as it's an RNAV approach. The LDEV should appear once we get closer to final. It's asking for more drag. I don't think we quite need it. You know what? Screw it. So for MLOV, we're going to be at 5,500 feet, max 210 knots on the speed. We'll start to slow down momentarily. We'll most likely go into, we'll activate the approach phase It's going to be a spicy arrival into Winnipeg. I've landed here a few times in the past. It's always been spicy. What I'll do now is we'll just, I guess we'll activate the approach phase. Aircraft will slowly start to slow down. There's our LDEV right there. 5,500 feet is almost set. From there, we need to be at, for Udall, we have a max speed and altitude restraint. We got to be at 3,500 feet. Make sure to plug that in. See how low the clouds are here. This will definitely be spicy. And we'll maintain 210 knots. Just before we start vectoring ourselves for final. I don't know if that's a bug with the aircraft, with the flight directors flickering there. I'm not sure. But we'll maintain this heading. Or you know what, we'll just go back into VNAV. Let's do a nav descent here. And we'll just go direct Uldal or Uldal momentarily. Gonna be max 200. We'll go flaps 1. Arm the ground spoilers. Still very cloudy. A big left turn there. In the RNAV arrivals in an Airbus, you're going to have to hit the approach mode. So once we are direct Uldal, we'll make sure we do that. And I'll activate that actually right now. Approach nav is set. I didn't add any of my fixed rings here. Final approach course is 185. And we'll go 10. And there's our rings there. We have our VDEV coming back in. $10 out. Beautiful. And we'll just quickly brief our missed approach. Missed approach says climb to 3000, track 185 to Noxham. And hold. Aircraft's now descending. So we're going to go ahead flaps 2. And we'll get the rest of our signs on here. Beautiful. Again, we're taking this down to
2,500.
pretty much 300 feet above the runway. It's going to be pretty gnarly. And we'll go gear down. Flaps 3. We do have a speed restraint coming up at O'Rourke. It says max 170. We'll make sure we get fully configured. Flaps full. Okay, we got gear down 3 green. Flaps are set. Ground spoilers are armed. Auto brake is set to low. Come up top, verify all of our lights are on. Fantastic. The last thing we need to do, wait for runway in sight before we take controls. We're about 1,500 feet above the runway right now. We have overcast clouds at 400 feet. I'm not sure in real world situations if they do a go around, but we'll see. Got some ground coverage there. Still no threshold lights. Possibly do an auto land. I'm not sure if you could do an auto land in an RNAV approach. But 1000 check. I see some lights. And runways in sight. I'm going to go ahead and take controls. I have controls. Runway is in sight. What looks like 1 white, 3 red, 2 white, 2 red.
500.
Check.
Above. Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Nose down gently. Reversers out. $70 knots check. Ladies and gents, welcome down to Winnipeg, Manitoba. We'll vacate off to the left here. I'll take that landing all day. Don't know what the score is. That felt like a 200. Okay, so we made Kilo. And I'll make sure we pull up gate number 10. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Clean up the flaps here, speed brakes. And we're going to take Kilo all the way to Lima. That landing definitely felt cleaner than back in Toronto. This aircraft is a little weird. It doesn't have like the ground effect in the PMDG 737. You can literally feel it lift, start to balloon the aircraft up from the ground, and it's like it almost flares by itself. This one here, I don't feel the same with it. So it's just, you gotta, this one, you have to really look down the runway as you're starting to flare. But still a beautiful looking airport. And we are gate number 10. So let's start to slow the bird down. And we are going to be going off to our right. I think we're here. I think that's 9. I think this is 10. Beautiful Q400. Not yet in the simulator. Hopefully soon. I know that's not quite on the center line, but we'll take it. Put the brakes on there. APU bleed is on. We'll go ahead. Engine 1 and 2 coming off. Seatbelt lights can come off. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. We'll go ahead and start the deboarding process. GSX, we will start the deboarding process. Got a little dance there. Love it. Everything about that felt very good. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful looking terminal too, my goodness. No snow on the ground here as well. That's okay. Good for Winnipeg. Anyways, ladies and gents, just want to thank you guys for coming out to show some love. Appreciate everything that you guys do. Without y'all, none of this is possible. You guys definitely keep me motivated to want to continue to put out some flight simming videos, even though, you know, it's I don't do anything spectacular or crazy. I'm just sort of a dad that flies on the weekends and just makes content. You know, I'm sure there's tons of this out there on YouTube, but to each their own, I guess. But anyways, ladies and gents, we'll catch y'all on the next flight. We are taking off from Winnipeg. We're headed to Calgary, I believe. It might be Edmonton, but I think it's Calgary. From Calgary, we'll be in Regina. It is new scenery. I don't think anybody has really shown Regina yet in Microsoft Flight Sim. It is done by Sim Add-ons, so you know, we'll expect Sim Add-ons type stuff. But anyway, ladies and gents, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace and love.